But that's Harvey Keene's prosthetic leg hanging from the fourth base bar in West Milwaukee. And what's the card that's tucked into the stirrup?
84 Tops.
84 Tops, ladies and gentlemen. This is the card. 84 Tops, Harvey Keene sticking out of his Harvey Ling's prosthetic leg. At the fourth.
Side note.
I work for you, buddy.
That bar is displaying the sort of the style of hat that I love. Now, Milwaukee, I wasn't a fan of the bright yellow front.
Right.
That batting helmet with the white front,
yes,
MB on it is perfect.
Yes. The yellow's a little too much. I'm with you.
Oh, I mean, the Orioles did it back in that time frame with the white front, and that was
that one up here, ladies and gentlemen, top right hand corner. I brought it back up on the screen. Right, not the yellow, but the white. That's a nice, clean look.
Yeah.
Nice play, nice call. All right, so they lose the World Series in 7. I remember that Yount has a 5-hit game, right, in one of the games. As I'm ripping him. It was also during that World Series the first time I ever saw a bong. I was staying with my cousin Lori and her boyfriend, now longtime husband Dave, in Rohnert Park, and they took us out to play video games. It was super fun. My mom and dad were, I don't know, like Ixtapa or somewhere fun. And I remember they had a bong out, and I'm like, I know what that is. I've heard of them. All right. So 82. We started talking trades. You showed me a couple of things. I could go this way or that. But then that was also going to segue us into an entirely different direction that you wrote to me about, is talking about 1981. You called it the A's home opener. You called it the A's opener. It's actually the A's home opener. Right. Yeah. So they're actually, it's 1981, and they come out of the gate super hot. They're 8-0. You're at game 9. Right. They're going to win this game. They're going to run it to 11-0. They're going to run it to 17-1. They get out of a hot start. Let's talk this game and why you want to talk about this game.
Let me tell you. I always equate back to as a kid thinking it was always the big hitter. In fact, up until this point, I think baseball underappreciated the guys that didn't hit home runs. Mm-hmm. Your history is littered with Ruth, Gehrig, Mantle, Snyder, Mays, Aaron. These are all big hitters. Numbers are prodigious. And 1980, here comes this guy that's taking over the game in a new way.
All right.
And yes, we had Lou Brock. We've had Maury Wills, who were known as speed guys, but he didn't take over the game the way Rickey did. Rickey was something, you knew what he was trying to do. You knew what he was going to do. He's almost telling you he's going to do it. Yeah. And he was the local kid playing in Oakland.
Yeah.
Boy,
Oakland Tech.
Someone who did something better than on the planet. I mean, in 81 was the beginning of it, right? 81 was the beginning.
It's Billy Ball.
Unfortunately, Billy Ball will probably be remembered for all the pitchers he destroyed versus the hitters he created, right? That lineup in Billy Ball isn't scaring anybody, right? You had Rickey, Dwayne Murphy, Tony Armas, Mitchell Page. I mean, you didn't have
Shooty Babbitt.
Hey,
listen, the game you were at, Shooty Babbitt started at second base.
Yeah, he did. But no, we weren't there to see anyone but Rickey.
Of course.
That's it. I mean, and my dad, we begged him to go. It was a late purchase ticket. We're up. You cannot get. I think we were like third row from the back of the stadium in right field.
Upstairs, way up in the atmosphere. The clouds are lower than you. The birds are going, why are you so high?
Yeah. Hey, buddy, how you doing up here? Getting
so you see Rickey. What happens in the home opener?
Well, it's a laugher. It's an absolute laugher. What I remember from the game most is my dad grumbling that he took us out here for the 16-1 thrashing. It was 10-1 early in the game. He's like, I want to go home. He's like, I want to go. And we're begging him not to go.
Come on, Dad.
But what I remember and what when you're
that's
kid,
a little bit Jerry, by the way. You have like your 10-year-old kid at a baseball game at the opener, and you're like, we're gonna go. It's a third inning.
It's a lot of it, Jerry. It's not even a little bit. It's a lot of it.
No offense, but that's a big one, dude.
What was neat about it was the first time in my baseball watching history that I was in a place that was so electric.
Mm.
I mean, just up until that point, we had moved in '77. The Giants were, you're rooting for Mike Ivey and Rob Andrews and Johnny Lem. I mean, you didn't have massive seasons. Here comes this electric team, and it's all focused on Rickey Henderson. And the first thing I'm thinking is, this guy doesn't hit home runs, but boy, you watch him on the base path. You watch him, and everyone knows what he's going to do, and no one can stop him. Period. No one can stop him.
I know you have at least one of his rookie cards.
I do. In fact, I have like 7 of them. At one point in my collecting career, I said, I'm going to collect Rickeys. They don't appreciate and value very much. I just had a bunch of them. And I didn't bring any out for today, but I do.
That's all right. We all know it.
But I do have a lot of Rickey stuff. In fact, if we were in the sports room, you'd see it highlighted with a beautiful Rickey painting in the middle of my.
Oh, but yeah, let's take a minute. It's not just any old painting. Let's tell who is the artist, right? What is the context? Give us a quick rundown of this painting. It's amazing.
In one of my collecting veins, I was introduced to a man named Justin Ferrano, who does sports paintings of top players across the 3 major sports: basketball, football, baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I had bought a couple of pieces off of him. I wanted something for the house, and because I'm a man of nuances and indulgences and what have you, I couldn't just buy one. I had to buy a whole bunch. So next thing you know, I've formed a relationship with the gentleman. I know his family. I know, because I'm a talker, I guess. Anyway, he's the official painter for the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Cooperstown.
In Cooperstown. So one painting becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes 8. I now have 13 of his paintings. And a couple of years ago, I would say a couple of years ago, it's more like 4 at this point, 4 or 5. I was asked about commissioning a piece. And do I want to have an original Justin Ferrano painting? And they'll make me a deal. Of course they will, because I bought a bunch of paintings. Anyway. I said, there's a guy I've always wanted. And so I said, I'd love to get a Rickey Henderson piece.
Mm-hmm.
So Rickey's a guy. So I was able to work with them on the design of the painting. I was able to work with them on the name of the piece, which is Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty straightforward for a Rickey painting. And then it took forever for the paint. Now, I'm not a rich guy, and this is so I was paying this thing off for years.
Yeah.
And we show up, David, you and I, at a card show.
At the National.
In Atlantic City.
Yep.
Atlantic City.
Yep.
And we go to the Justin Ferrano location. I'm saying hi to Steve, who's one of the sales guys. And he goes, I have something to show you. And there is the Rickey piece, right?
Yeah.
In all of its glory.
I was with you.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The only thing that's left is for him to sign it. And I said, he's at the show. We should get it signed while we're here. And, well, Adam, it doesn't work that way, right? And 2 years later, 2 years, the painting finally shows up at my house and is now the centerpiece of my collection until the new centerpiece comes in.
Ooh.
Which is,
wait, if that's then that you need a third one to actually become the real centerpiece, because 2 makes there no centerpiece.
I got to figure this out because
the Willie Mays one. The
Willie Mays one is in process, and what I learned is that the Willie Mays that didn't quite look like Willie Mays, like it fell off. Is because when he stopped painting it, he was in process of doing the face and other things.
Oh, it wasn't done.
I have since seen the design. I have agreed to commission it, and in a nice little, I guess, ode to my dad, who was a New York Giants fan.
All right,
I'm using part of my inheritance to.
I love it.
Put it in the house.
I love it. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll be at the show.
Let's go back. What's that? I want to go back to the 81 A's for a second.
That's fine. Let's go back.
I have two items that are 81 A's related. The first one is I have a still in the bag Billy Ball baseball from 1981. Yeah, this was actually This is an absolute PC item. It was a giveaway at a game. You can see it stamped on the bottom, San Jose Mercury News. 1981 Billy Ball, and it's Oakland Athletics on top. A Billy Ball baseball from...
How did you manage to keep that in the bag? We're 11 years old. How do you manage to keep that? In fact, you're not even 11. We're 10.
We're 10.
Right, in 81. How do you manage to keep that in the bag all these years?
Oh, no. I acquired it in other ways.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I acquired this because I knew you'd be irresistible trade bait for you, Mr. Kluski. Second item. Rickey related. Unopened related. PSA 9 graded cello pack stolen base leaders 1983 Rickey Henderson and Tim Raines coming off the record breaking stolen base season. Cello,
Awesome.
calling your name. Who's played on the Reds? I can't. Started in 73 through 82 is all a red. I can't tell who the back is, but the part you're really interested in is right there. Rickey Henderson stolen base leaders 1983 to go with the Billy Ball. I told you I brought some good stuff, man. I bring good trade bait to the table. That's all.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to counter that for you right now.
Okay. All right.
transition,
Where should we now put? Bring your A game.
Well, I got some stuff here for you.
All right.
Okay. I know your love for the San Francisco Giants, and
They're okay.
and your love, they're all right. Yeah.
You know.
And in my collection, there was a time where I was buying a lot of the same thing, trying to hey, I can own 7 out of 25 of something.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I sent you one or not, but I have a whole bunch of, and I know you're not an auto fan.
I'm not. But if it's on card, I'll think about it.
It's an on-card auto.
Okay.
Numbered to 25.
Okay.
A beautiful, clearly authentic Buster Posey.
Oh, that is nice. 2018, 17. What year is that?
2017.
17.
Still with the top sticker on it from the day it was opened out of the
Yeah,
box.
yeah. All right.
It is a beautiful.
So you bought the box and pulled that?
Oh no, this was
You
at a
bought
point where I was just collecting. I think I have 7 of this out of the 25. I think I own 7 of them.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
It's a connection to the Giants.
Yeah.
Connection to a future Giant Hall of Famer, and by anyone who says he doesn't belong in the Hall.
No. I got 3 rings and an MVP. Come on.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year, MVP.
Yeah,
3
one.
rings.
No.
Man's in. The man's in.
Melina and Buster are both Hall of Famers. It's You know his whole career he only had 27 pass balls.
That's crazy.
Incredible.
Crazy.
All right, so let me ask you, what do you have that priced at? I'm interested in that one, perhaps.
So that one actually goes on, and I'm not a trader with a finance background. That's not the reason to trade.
It's just fair value. That's all.
But the card goes. I did sell 2 of these, and I sold them at 115 each.
Okay.
So
So 115. Okay.
Around 115 if I were to put it somewhere.
Okay.
Along those lines, I have a rack that's been sitting in my house for a while, and it's taken a spot. It's a cool spot. I like it.
Okay.
It's what I consider the greatest pitching rack ever created.
Okay. Let's see
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
It's a 1987 Donruss. Okay?
Fun rip.
Fun stuff. It is a rack pack. The cover players are, let's go, Tom Seaver.
All right. Late stage Seaver.
Steve Carlton.
Late stage Carlton.
Nolan Ryan.
Pitched forever.
So you've got
that's those like the 3 of the greatest pitchers from the 70s.
that if you were to define our 70s and 80s time frame and say who
That's
are the
pretty
guys
amazing.
pitchers,
Yeah.
who else would be on the rack?
Yeah.
Jim Palmer, maybe?
Yeah. Palmer Wood, 3 Cy Youngs in the
Palmer.
70s. Yeah.
But if you were thinking about our childhood, Ryan Seaver Carlton.
Oh no, that is great. That's an A+. The only thing that would make it better is if it was earlier.
Sure. I mean,
sure, but it's excellent. It's that's A material for sure.
If it was earlier,
right,
I wouldn't be trading it. Right now, in a fun little piece, I do have this beauty, which is it's an 85 Donruss.
All right,
I love this rack only because it's unique.
Oh yeah,
Tom Seaver as a White Sox.
Yep.
Pete Rose as an Expo. So here you are, two
Yeah.
players from the 70s. I just
Yeah.
had it to show, right?
Yeah. What's the middle guy?
John Shelby,
Baltimore Orioles.
Baltimore
All
Orioles.
right. I'm liking this. We're working some stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna make the trades probably a little bit later in the episode, but we're seeing what's out there. I like it. I like what I'm seeing. Okay, I like how you're raising the stakes. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, we're going to move off of 81 forward in the 80s. You just went your own way. We did the Brewers a little bit, then we did the A's a little bit. Now we're moving into 1987, and your family is now several years past the divorce, and your family makes a move, and we're in high school together, and you make a move. Tell us.
1986. My mom had gotten remarried for the second time, her third husband. And he was a civilian Army Corps employee. So he was going to be moved to another location. And they'd given him different options. Hawaii was an option. Boston was an option. Atlanta was an option. All of which, by the way, would have been pretty good areas to experience
Absolutely.
things. My mom and Paul decide to go a slightly different direction. They said, we're going to go from Marin County, California.
Beautiful, gorgeous paradise.
Beautiful area where I remember all my memories of childhood. And after my brother's graduation day, literally the day after my brother's graduation day, she packs us up and moves us to Barstow, California. The armpit of a lot of places. And I have still friends I know in Barstow, but from a person between their sophomore and junior years of high school, this was hell. This was hell.
So after your freshman year of high school, how you said?
This is after my sophomore year.
After sophomore year. Okay, so we're going into junior year. And where is Barstow?
Barstow is the approximate midway point between LA and Vegas. It's on in the high desert area, the Mojave Desert.
Mojave Desert.
It is about half hour away from any other town. Apple Valley, Hesperia.
1986 population was 17,000.
It was horrible.
You're in the middle of nowhere. 17,000.
Yeah.
How many Jewish kids were there?
Including my brother and I, 2. They supposedly had a traveling rabbi. There's an army base there. I'd assume.
Right. It's a marine logistics base is there.
But we didn't. My mom wasn't. We weren't social there. I was there for high school. Actually allowed me to focus on my studies. I had just gotten in trouble at San Marin High for stealing Miss McCarthy's history final and giving it out.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And so,
dude.
And then so I had to take history again. And in Barstow, the test for the first president of the United States was George Blank. And I'm like, really? I mean, classes were taught.
I'm going to go to Yale on this.
They were taught in Spanglish. I mean, it was not.
That's right.
But
for sure.
My mom, we had moved from a nice condo. Before that, this beautiful home in Novato.
Yeah.
And we lived in a double wide. So it was a little bit of a culture shock.
Yeah.
When we moved in, I think we were the 5th house in this mobile home park. And when I left for college 2 years later, I think we were the 5th out of 9 mobile homes in this big park. It was all dirt, and then we had our double wide. It was not great, which is not for a kid who's heading into his junior year of high school.
Yeah.
So life's tough. I mean, I don't know anybody. It's something's trying to get a job. I'm trying to establish myself as a driver, and it wasn't a good time. And not like I had a girlfriend I left behind or anything else, but I left good friends and Stratomatic, and my brother was gone. My older brother, Lee.
Lee was a cow. That's right.
Yeah. Neil had become a little bit more of a rebel. And so my mom they were struggling to make ends meet. But every night, 1987, I had learned during the end part of 86 that in the middle of Barstow, in the middle of Mojave Desert, KNBR, the 50,000 watt flamethrower, as they used to call themselves, could be heard in Barstow, California. So I used to spend my evenings listening to Giants, listen to Lon Simmons and Giants games, or Hank Greenwald and Giants games. in the late 80s. And that 87 team was Will Clark had just burst on the scene in 86.
Yep.
Who's still a trivia question, right?
He's hugely collectible in the hobby. He
Yeah.
signs everything. He's in so many Topps releases. But
good and bad.
Hugely hugely collectible. Who else is on that team? I know that team really well. They win the West.
Well, Kevin Mitchell's on the team.
They get him in a trade from?
Kevin Mitchell came from the Mets. No, wait. I know he played for the Reds and he played for the Mets. Padres?
Yeah, he gets traded before 87. He gets traded after the 86 season. He goes to the Padres, and he's a Padre for a half a season.
Yeah.
In the early first week of July, he gets traded from the Padres to the Giants. They who comes over in that trade? Chris Brown, Mark Davis, Keith Comstock, Mark Grant. Going over from San Diego to the Giants is Dave Dravecky, along with Kevin Mitchell.
What a great story. I mean,
my God, let's talk a little Dave Dravecky, shall we?
Because Dravecky, when I collect these pop shop items,
they should do one.
I mean, Dravecky is.
I would buy it.
Made for it.
Yeah,
it's made for it. Talk about an attitude and
tell the story. Tell the story.
So, Dave Dravecky, not the greatest pitcher known to man, but a solid pitcher. He's a
good lefty.
Solid guy, good left-hander. Is in a short story is diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, a tumor in his left deltoid.
Yeah, so he has to leave for surgery, and he fights his way back.
Mm-hmm.
And second game back.
Second game back. Wins his first game back 4-3. Yeah.
Yeah. In his second game back, pitching on the mound early in the game. And in the middle of throwing a pitch, he snaps his arm.
Yeah.
I mean, it ends his career. For all intents and purposes, it ends his. He
Yeah.
tries to come back after it, not very successfully. But, I mean, it was – and to talk about someone who's on top of the baseball world for just overcoming what he went through, and to have that happen in the middle. It was early in the game. It wasn't very far into the game.
It was right as the start of the game. They were up in Montreal.
A couple of pitches, right? I mean, I want to say it's not very far.
Yeah, it's his second pitch of the game.
He crumbles to the ground. With that arm having snapped in half and just
So what happens is he makes this incredible comeback. He's diagnosed in late 1988 season, like October of 88, with a tumor on his left deltoid. They have to remove half of his deltoid, his shoulder, like the major shoulder muscle, and makes this incredible comeback. Like you said, I think it's in August of that year he comes back of 89.
Yep.
And it's great because and we're going to have Dravecky going into the postseason, wins his first start. Like you said, his second game back at Montreal. Arm just cracks, it snaps, breaks the humerus. His career at that point, when he's lying there crumpled on the ground and he's thinking, oh, this is about something much bigger than baseball. He actually recognizes he's in that moment in time for a greater purpose. And baseball happens to be the vehicle that delivers this life purpose, but it's not a straight line. He has that awareness, and then he goes through a period of woe is me. As it turns out, is in order to save his life, they have to amputate his arm because to keep the cancer from spreading, right? So what you get on this episode, the special episode of Season Team Boombox and Screen, is you get not one but two stories of baseball amputees. We started with Harvey Keene, and now we're doing Dave Dravecky. I didn't know we'd have two, let alone one, but we do. He becomes an incredible motivational speaker. You can find his stuff online. He talks about his purpose in life, and about overcoming obstacles and going through the hardest times and making meaning. It's quite an amazing story, which brings us to two things. Number one, Adam, I want to show you Dave Dravecky's 1988 Topps, airbrushed. Look how bad the airbrush is. I'm quite sure you and I could do one this good.
It's horrible.
Look at the SF, dude. It's like someone wrote it on the back of their Trapper Keeper in history class in high school. I look at that, dude. It's all off balance. That is the worst SF airbrush. But the item I really want to show you, and because this is for a possible trade, is I want to show you this 19.
Is that from the game?
Yes, no, it's a 2023
Oh,
commemorating the 25th anniversary of Dave Dravecky's comeback. It's a button that they gave out before the Giants game. It's, a little pin, and commemorating the 25th anniversary of Dave Dravecky's comeback. See, I bring you good things for trades. I bring you a real Billy Ball from 81. I bring you an unsealed and unopened pin of Dave Dravecky's comeback while we're talking about Dave Dravecky. It's because I love you, buddy. I'll give you my best things.
there you go. Well, I'm saving my best for last.
Oh, I know it. I got my best for last too. I got a couple bests for last. All right. So what have we done so far? We talked a little bit about you. Talked about 82 Brewers. We talked about 81 Billy Ball. We moved a little 87 Giants. And now we're going to move into a little pop culture from 1982. What do you got for us, Adam?
First of all, 1982 was a great year to go looking at pop culture.
Yeah.
It was, oddly enough, it felt like a year of change, both from a comedy standpoint, from a culture standpoint, how we looked at politics, how we looked at families. And it was the year that Knight Rider started. It was
nice. Could have gone Knight Rider.
We could have went Cheers. We could have went Family Ties.
Ooh. I did
went,
Family Ties recently, though.
Did you?
We did a Michael J. Fox with the Iowa Dave Schwartz. We did Family Ties, the one where he gets all strung out on speed.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. We in movies, I was looking at movies. That was the tail end of E.T. from the year before. It was the tail end of, but my eye was drawn to Victor Victoria, which looked at men and women and their play. I mean, it was, first of all, it's like, who doesn't love Alex Karras? I'm just saying.
Wait. Like, I love how much we have in common, but then you like drop Victor Victoria on me. It's just like, I love you. You're like, we're at the theater watching a musical. Like, we have such a Venn diagram overlap, but we do not overlap with musicals and Victor Victoria, dude.
You cannot mess with you can't. Now that's not obviously what I'm going to talk about, right?
Thank God. Who's that? Julia? What's her name?
Julia Andrews. Right? And it was
with, thank you for not doing that.
Was it James Garner?
I don't know. I never saw it, dude. I thought you were doing Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's also 1982.
I love Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but I just wish I was older when that movie came out to appreciate it more at the time.
That's fair.
But
it's more of a VHS. You're right.
Yeah, but let's talk about something that changed the course of culture and television. Okay.
What is it?
In February of 1982.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show a card.
You have his card?
Do I have his card? This man debuted.
Oh! Who are we looking at?
Welcome to the world of late night comedy, Mr. David Letterman.
What card is that you're showing?
This is from a little known high school hero set. And they got some stats for him on the back.
What are his stats?
Broad Ripple High School.
Indianapolis, Indiana. All right.
Yeah. What's funny is he has an interesting tie to baseball. One of my favorite episodes of his occurred in 1986. I didn't see it in 86 because I just couldn't tell you why. I think Letterman becomes appreciated as an adult as more so than a kid.
Sure.
But he lives in Indianapolis, born in Indianapolis, loves baseball, no major league team in Indianapolis. So the story he tells is that Minneapolis sounds a lot like Indianapolis. So I'm going to become a Twins fan. And he becomes a lifelong Twins fan.
Huh.
1985 comes around, and he's doing a movie themed episode where he has stars creating these little mini movies, and he has went and begged Harmon Killebrew to make a movie for his.
Oh wow! Good call. Deep cut.
I'm saying Killebrew refuses.
Oh.
And Letterman continues to beg and plead and sends equipment to Harmon. Look, I'm going to send it to you. And Harmon finally agrees, puts together a little film. The event happens in 85, and due to a time issue, they've run out of time. So they didn't show Harmon's movie. So Letterman's ashamed, embarrassed, goes to Harmon, who's a little upset about it, and says, I'm going to dedicate an entire show to Harmon Killebrew. And in 1986, David Letterman airs the Harmon Killebrew episode. Now, it is, if you ever go back and watch it, it's cringeworthy. I mean, Harmon Killebrew is not the most personable of personalities to have on there. The show starts with Dave Letterman saying, "Hey, you were a great ball player, and you did this, and you made it." And Killebrew's answer was, "Yeah, and now I own a car dealership." I mean, he brings Bob Allison on to talk about hitting with him in 65 and making the series. And Bob Allison doesn't have much to say. These are old men at this point in time. It is a 46-minute episode of TV time dedicated to just Harmon Killebrew.
That's terrible.
It is. If you go watch it, Letterman has his good and bad things, right?
I have a little Letterman.
Do you?
You ready for it?
Let's see it.
The Letterman I have is 1987. If you remember when Joe Niekro, at the end of his career, is pitching for the Minnesota Twins.
Oh, the file incident, yeah.
And they bust him, right? They bust him with a piece of sandpaper.
Yeah.
That's flesh colored on his palm, and more importantly, an emery board that actually on the screen I have a photograph that's like circled like a Zapruder kind of thing. There's the emery where he goes into his pockets, turns out his pockets, and as he turns out, he's throwing the emery board away. That's what's on. That's what's on the camera, and the umpires who were like talking, they're looking at his glove, like they're not going to see it. They see it. Well, I think it's Tim Toshida sees it, picks it up. He gets suspended for 10 games, right? But then what's amazing is during the suspension, Letterman has him on the show. This is 1987. It's a picture of Joe Niekro, brother of Phil Niekro, on Letterman. And sitting there, that's a power sander he's holding in his right hand, and he's wearing a whole tool belt. Had a really, really good time with it. Has a sense of humor. Denies everything. Like he's the mafia. Does not. But he also like jokes. He's so caught dead to rights. And Letterman is the peak Letterman. Giving him a hard time, also kind of laughing about it. Really good episode. I have a Niekro card, one of my favorite Niekro cards, actually. 1983 Donruss Niekro brothers. Joe and Phil and Joe. How many home runs did Joe Niekro hit in his major league career?
Oh, I know he's a pretty good hitter. Let's go with 18.
Let's go with 1.
1?
How many home runs he hit? 1. Who was the victim? Who did he homer off of?
Oh, it's got to be a big name guy.
It is. It's a Hall of Famer.
Got to be a big name guy. First of all, I would love to see what would happen in his next at-bat against this pitcher, but let's go with Bob Gibson.
Let's go with his brother, Phil Niekro.
Stop it.
He hit 1 home run. He homered off his brother.
His Dwayne Kuiper moment was off of his brother.
Amazing. Isn't that a great story?
You show that card. And
yeah.
There's a pack I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
That has the Russell brothers, Paul and Rick Russell.
Oh, yeah.
And I always think back to those cards because, you have Jim and Gaylord, you have Phil and Joe, you have Ken and George.
Yep.
Lesser known.
Yep.
There was this whole thing about brothers back in
that. Oh, yeah. That'd be kind of a fun collection.
90s there would be a neat little thing to have. You can have the Robin and Larry Yount card.
That's funny. Announced but never played. All right. I got a few more things I want to show you to trade, and then we're going to talk national. Then we're going to end with a mail day. Ready?
Done.
All right. I'm going to show you 3 items. Actually, you want to go first? I just went last, so you go.
Yeah. I'm going to show you 2 items. One,
okay.
Actually, I've got 4, but I'll tell you what, I'll show all 4. Why not?
Okay.
Because I went into football for a little bit because I don't know why I have some football cards. I don't collect them.
But don't offer that Mexican Mel Blount card back to me. I got you that as a Hanukkah present.
No, because I know you're a Niners guy.
I'm a Niners guy. That's right.
You're a Niners guy. I'm not even sure how much longer he's going to be on the Niners. But I do have a rookie on-card auto of Brandon Ayuk.
College uni.
College. It is what it is.
It's cool though. I hope they keep him, but they drafted a receiver. It seems like you know what? You can make an argument that they actually don't sign Debo. As much as I love Debo, he gets hurt a lot.
He gets hurt a lot.
It may be smarter. I mean, he's a one-of-one player, but it may be smarter long term actually to not pay him. Go ahead. What's the second thing you got?
Smarter to sign Ayuk. Ayuk's the better receiver anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of Debo, the other one happens to be a Debo numbered to 25.
South Carolina, but it's in a college uni. College uni.
All right, let's go to the two big ones, right?
All right.
The first one, at one point in time, I was collecting the 1977 baseball set.
I remember. Did you break it up?
Oh, no.
Aren't you like the number 9 or something all time in PSA?
Yes, it is. Every card is PSA 8 or above.
Yeah.
But at one point, I needed one more player.
Okay.
And again, I'm not necessarily an auto guy.
Yeah.
This is a player that I think we both love just because of the name. It happens to be an auto card numbered to 5.
Rusty Kuntz?
Don Assi. Lecoq. No, it is the Mad Hungarian, Al Hrabosky.
Oh, Al Hrabosky.
So it's numbered to 5. It was a special Topps issue.
Yeah.
And I bought it to finish the set, but because I figured it's encased, it's in beautiful shape.
Yeah.
And then I found one. So
I remember when you're looking for one. All right.
Topps original base. That is not the big one though. The big one's actually on the table behind me.
Oh, let's see it.
Okay. There are times, David, that we collect things to have in our set.
Yeah.
That we know really belong in someone else's set. Okay. And I bought something that I'm extremely proud of. I love owning it. I love having it.
Yeah.
But I know where it belongs. Okay.
You're teasing me.
Turn around to this table right here. I'm going to pick up this rack right here.
Oh, you know me so well.
This rack. I had to think long and hard about this one.
Okay.
But the reality is, well, as collectors, when we say that a card belongs in a collection, right?
Yeah.
Your love affair with this card, is it's been stated, I think, even on your podcast quite a few times.
Oh, many times. Yeah.
So this is a 1978 Topps the Shield set.
I love the Shield.
It is a rack that has, we'll say, where's that? Bob
Gorinsky. I love Bob Gorinsky. Great fourth outfielder from Minnesota for a season.
By the way, look at that helmet right there. There's that two-tone
There's your
helmet.
Twins hat. All right, next one. Next card.
And we got Buck Martinez.
Buck Martinez, also a manager.
Buck's all right.
Yeah.
By the way, on the back, we have Bill Campbell, Von Joshua.
I can already tell the other card. Quit tickling me.
Reggie. The Reggie 1978 All-Star.
That's a nice one. Oh, you did bring the A game, Adam. All right. You did bring the A game.
This is a rack.
Wait, what are you getting rid of that for?
Because, look, there are plenty of things I have in my collection that are for me. They're cards that are mine. I've always wanted them. And this is a great rack. This is a great rack. It's a nice rack. It's But the reality is the joy that it'll get being in your collection is the reason to do it, right?
Sure.
I'm going to replace it with something else over time.
Wow.
Maybe something else that gives me a different type of joy, right?
This is by the way, this is why you are both narrator and subject of the Golden Girls theme song.
You stop it.
You know, come on, that's so menschy of you. All right.
This one belongs to Dick.
All right. I think I think this speaks for itself. I think you know your audience. I am your market. That's my demographic. Like bullseye.